Hello. It is Thursday, 3 o'clock live stream. And I'm glad you're here. I see I have 12 people viewing. They haven't shown up in the comments area yet, but I'm sure they will. And anyway, I hope you're all having a good day. I see Jeff is checking in. He's on the road right now between Barking and Newham University Hospital. Okay. Cody King checking in. Glad you're here. And looking forward to others showing up. Motorsports Engine is here. Must have got off work today. Or got home from work, I should say. Randy's checking in from Iowa. So I'm sure there'll be more. Leonard, Randy, Randy, Leonard. Afternoon all. How's it going? It's going good. You know, I was looking at. There's somebody who has asked about being on, but I think he's going to be on Monday. Okay, I just saw an email. Jeff is now checking in. Dave is checking in. And you know what, Dave? I just remembered. It's too far to go, but I have the hat that Jack sent me. I was going to wear it. I was going to wear it today, and I forgot it. It would take me a couple minutes or a minute to run up to the house, and so I can wear it another time, I'm sure. So Butch checking in. Yep. That was no fun, but that's how it goes. Crash something checking in from Indiana. Cody King is okay. So now it's King Custom Garage has changed his name to Cody King. Okay. I have Fra Mar. Like the content. Thank you. I've not seen that name before, so whoops. I'll give you a bell for that new name. Jerry, what changed in the screen? Okay. Never mind. Okay. Leonard, haven't got to finish watching the video on the Vintage Air video. Okay. You know, Jeff, I was curious about that myself, and I don't know why. And in the video, I talk about this, the measurements. Hi, Dave. Glad you're here. That Vintage Air gives you a number of 4.725. They give you a decimal number, 4.725. And in parentheses right after that, they give you 4 3/4. And I point this out. That's not the same. So I don't know if it's just a misprint. Somebody missed it during their proofreading. I don't know. But then as I was thinking about it further, Jeff, I was looking at how I measured that pulley and the references you were making, and I realized that I really didn't measure it correctly. So I may have to approach that again. And of course, everything's assembled right now, but I may have to take another look at that because I know that I was putting that scale and doing that measurement, and it's off. We'll just say that. I think it's off. So I missed that in the video, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I can't use that harmonic balancer anyway, so there has to be something remedied. Phil checking in. Cody King, I love the work you do. Thank you. I'll give you a bell for that. Oh, my bell's kind of, I gotta hold the bell for it to sound right. Weird. Boondocker, what's going on, Barry? Still living the dream, I guess. I am home at 3 in the afternoon. Yeah. Pewter Mug, greetings from the Great White North, Niagara Falls, Ontario. Glad you're here. Jerry Towler, I found out the reason for the fender alignment to the doors, it was a foam piece to be installed on the mid bolt point at the rear of the fenders. Okay, you're talking about the little foam gasket that goes between the inner structure of the fender and the A-pillar, basically. That does make a difference. So I'm glad you found that. Oh, so crash, it's pronounced crash writer. Okay. I'm sure there's a story behind that, but I'll take your word for it. Leonard, where are you going to put the fuel pump? Aha. I don't know. I think we have to build that bridge before we burn it. You know, I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work out. But we'll figure, I guess we'll figure it out as we get there. Krister Runtanen. Krister Runtanen. Hello from Finland. Well, hello to you as well. Finland, checking in. Got that. Car guy, Troy, great video on the vintage air timing coverings. All looks like a nice kit. I agree. I think it is a nice kit. I think there were some hurdles that I don't know for sure if they make two different versions of that front cover. I had no say in order of this, this stuff. The owner had ordered, the engine and transmission, the vintage air setup, and all that sort of thing. So the discussion may not have even been about whether there was a difference, because typically, if you order an engine based on a 302 small block family, you're not going to consider the idea that it could have larger bolts in the timing cover. I mean, nobody should generally consider that unless they're working on these things all the time. So in this case, and again, I haven't checked because I work with what I have, basically. And in this case, that cover was designed for fitting 5/16 bolts. What are you going to do? If they don't make one that is designed for 3/8 bolts, what's your fix? Now, some people had talked about putting helicoils in. Set it up for helicoils. Well, I put helicoils in before, and they work. I have no problem with helicoils. The problem I do have is setting up that block to take helicoils, because again, this is a brand new engine. I don't want any chance at getting something in there that's going to cause a problem, or drilling a hole, because ideally you want to have a bare block to do this sort of thing, but you can do it on the engine. I've done stuff like that, but I would rather have a bare block and then be able to set up a stop drill or a drill, whatever, so I don't drill too deep, and then you have to tap that hole to make the helicoil fit, and then do all that fit. It gets really complicated. To me, the easy fix was stepping up the holes. That's a real easy fix. Aluminum drills, or you can drill it pretty easily with just about anything. And I already knew that bolts are available. Now, I did notice or find out from a friend who was in the parts industry. He had a book from ARP with the correct numbers that I need. So if I decide to, and again, I'm gonna be hesitant here. If I decided to, I could put in the correct bolts that match the design, the 12-point ARP stainless, blah, 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 blah. The only problem I have with that at this point is the recessed hole that's behind the down tube on the water pump. If I were to try to put in one of those 12-point bolts, I don't believe that the hole is big enough, the recess hole, because it's just, if I do that, it's going to become more of an issue, because I would have to do something with that hole then, which would mean taking everything off, and you see how this snowballs. So at this point, the housing is in place, the water pump is on, and the fix is going to be putting in, getting a smaller diameter balancer. This engine is internally balanced, so it's not as critical, let's say. I just, we have to come up with one that's slightly smaller that'll bolt on. And then we have to look at the consideration, as Jeff had brought up on the video itself, about the depth. And I understand that's going to be a critical location on the depth of the balancer, because that locates your crank pulley, and that indexes with everything else in that flow. So it may take a little bit of thinking to make sure everything's right, but it'll get there. Just one of those things, you know. Yep, Boondocker, you have to see the video. It's about putting on the front runner system on the stroker engine. Yeah, I agree, Leonard. I don't want to approach anything on this block. You know, this is a brand new, not cheap crate engine. So you start putting in, start modifying the block, you're no, not going to do it. No, Jeff, I love helicoils, my lifesaver on all motorcycles. Well, true. And they're fantastic on motorcycles because I think for the most part, motorcycles are just, it's all aluminum. You can tap those up pretty easily, get the helicoil in, and, you're set. Mike, what happened? Why are we talking about helicoils? Well, you have to go back and look at the video and the discussion on the putting on that front runner system, because I had to enlarge the bolt holes to match the bolts that are required for the block. That's basically a 302 Boss block, brand new, and they oversized some parts of it. And the two lower bolts that hold the timing cover on each side are 3/8, whereas a typical small block, that's a 5/16 bolt. So it became a conflict. We've got Sam Bowman, Joe Daddy fan from Oregon. Glad you're here, Sam. Okay, so Jeff just arrived at NUH, which is a hospital there. I forget what the name of it was. Pewtermug 77, Robert here. I wanted to ask if anyone had experience with polyurethane bushings in place of OEM rubber ones, and any thoughts or tips for preventing the annoying squeak poly can create. That is a good question. And we actually talked about this on a email. But if anybody has any insight that can help out Robert with those poly bushings, by all means, leave a comment. I know that those things, they tend to squeak no matter what you do. You can have, if you get the alignment square, it's better. But I mean, they have a product, a clear grease that comes with them. I've always put that all over that stuff and tried to eliminate the squeaks. But if anybody has any insight or any recommendations for Robert, by all means, leave a comment. All right, so Jeff is all hands as well as all ears. Good. Leonard, from what he showed and what he showed with the board drills, that's the way to go. I agree, Leonard. I mean, that's easy. That's relatively easy to do it that way. Boondocker, I did see what you had on your Facebook a day or two ago. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, the video. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Dave, have you discussed the issue with vintage air that may have a simple solution? I have not. I'll probably give them a call and see what they recommend for a balancer. My measurements, and I did check this, by the way. Somebody brought this up about whether or not the crank seal or the crankshaft center was centered on the crank seal, and it is. So that's not a concern. That all lines up. I checked that. Dead center. It's good to go. So I had somebody else recommend changing out the water pump. Well, I can't say for sure if this is a reverse flow water pump because of the serpentine system. And they gave me some recommendations, which is great. But I don't, I want to keep whatever vintage air sent. That's what I want to put back on there. I don't want to have to keep guessing. But we'll see what the balancer, what we can come up with. Yeah, well, we could talk about anything, Mike. Yeah, let's see. That's fine. I'm glad. That's fine, Robert. If anybody has any recommendations, in fact, there's Leonard says put white lithium grease on the bushings in a small amount. So maybe that's the answer. If it works, it works. Let's see. Jeff Owens, Mike Chu. Oh yeah, I don't think tonight is film night. Yeah. 10-4 was just watching your video when I got your live notification. Okay. Well, that'll get you caught up. Brian W. checking in, and Jeff, I subbed to your J Daddy's Workshop channel today. Well, thank you for that, Jeff. Maybe you'll find something entertaining on that channel as well. Maybe. You know, I had to, I wanted to bring this up because, you know, I mentioned before in the video about doing a giveaway, just a basic, simple giveaway. And I did that with, I did something, I mailed it today, in fact, what I was giving away. But I pointed out that it's rather expensive to ship stuff overseas. It's crazy expensive. Well, I went to the post office, and the winner was from California. And I don't go to the post office in my little town is not fun to go to, just put it that way. So I'll drive 10 miles to the next post office in a little town that's further south of me. And there's like no cars in the parking lot. You walk in, it's so easy to take care of your stuff and walk on out. So I drove down there today thinking, okay, I'm going to mail this package. I get there and it's 1 o'clock. Thinking, oh, whatever. Go to open a door and there's a sign on the door that I forgot. I know this already, but the sign says closed from 12 to 1:30 for lunch. They don't even have their doors open because they have so few people. It's like, oh man. So it's 1 o'clock. So I just drove around a little bit just to see what was in the neighborhood. Nothing special. Just drove around. I come back. It's 1:30. I go in and I go to ship this simple package. Nothing heavy, nothing outrageous, simple package. For me to ship the item to California was $9.35. And that was in the US. And that was for something that I don't know has any weight to it. And I said, wait a minute, I've sent boxes for less than this. And he said, well, this is a package, so it costs more. I was like, package costs more than a box? How does that work? So I went ahead and, paid for it, sent it out. But that was one of my points is the cost of this stuff to be, sent out anymore is getting to be crazy. And, I've sent out boxes that had this, basically the same weight. It was half the price. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes, but I'm going to keep working at it. Maybe I have to put something in, in that same box that in the US, I think it's it's like $5 to ship one of my hats in the US. But anyway, they wanted almost $10 to ship that bubble wrap or bubble envelope. Crazy. Hey, Greg, glad you're here. Boondocker, Poly use plenty of the lube they supply. Somewhat of a trade-off between firming up suspension and longevity and the possibility of some squeaking. So that's a good answer. Car guy Troy, I've been thinking about adding AC in the 67390 car I'm doing. When I get to that point, video helps a lot. Well, there will be another video. It'll be a follow-up to this one, but I'm also putting vintage air into the Jade Mustang 68. And I've already addressed that. When I hooked up power steering, I put the compressor on, but I still need to put the box onto the dash and that sort of thing. So there will be another one based on that car as well. Phil Miller, agree with Leonard. but I also add graphite powder. So there's another, there's another option for you, Robert, is to add some graphite to it. Let's see, Boondocker, he purchased an extra tub, 8 ounces of the lube from Energy Suspension. So yeah, that's like your only supplier, it seems, of that stuff. Yes, Butch, yes. Gary, and they wonder why the post office is failing. Yeah, well, I mean, that seemed awfully high. But what do you do? What do you do? Yeah, Jerry, volume is the main factor for cost. That's true. That is true. Harvey checking in. I researched balancers and assembling my 5.0 roller motor. Professional products had a variety of options. I was happy with the one I purchased. Okay, thank you for that. Boondocker, I replaced every single bushing with poly on 2 of my trucks, and I am pleased. Well, good. Okay, I'm just checking the email because, again, if somebody wants to get on, they can jump on the email and send me a email, and I'll send you a link. So it's down there at the bottom of the screen. But anyway, I went and did that, and you know, it's always something. Everything costs money. Everything you do, one way or another, either costs money or time. We all know that. So, like I said, the next thing, I'm not sure where I'm going to be at on the next video, because unless we get that balancer figured out and addressed, I may have to do something else. I may have to just go a different direction just to get do another video and get it out there. But I do want to. I did temporarily set the compressor in place and the alternator in place and the power steering pump in place just to make sure everything was going to clear, and all that seems to work fine. But I'd like to show all that in another video. And as I said, I don't necessarily want to do hour-long videos, but it seems like sometimes I have to. I'm trying to show information, and even what I showed, I filmed probably 4 or 5 hours of footage that I have to chop it down. So, John Krellin checking in from Liverpool, United Kingdom. I'm glad you're here. Boondocker, the only way to save money is with your own labor. That is true. That is very true. And that's why I work on everything I own until it comes to transmissions. I have a friend he does transmissions at his home. I'll take him that transmission. Here, it's yours. I don't want to mess with it. It's just too many things going on in a transmission. So anyway, so what else is going on out there? Anything new and exciting in the world beyond other? Well, we're not getting into too many off subjects. We want to stick to cars. Marshall, and my labor is worthless. No, Marshall, it's not worthless. It's not worthless. But I mean, it's only worth something to you as long as you're not paying somebody else to do the job, right? So you can look at it that way. If I were to pay somebody this, it would be $1,000. So your labor's worth $1,000 then if you do it instead. Got to think of it that way. Jerry's saying a trip to the emergency room. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. What happened, Jerry? That doesn't sound good. Never sounds good when you say a trip to the emergency room. Anyway, oh man, I'm a little. I don't know. I really wanted to get that cover done and have that in place. and move on. And that kind of just throws a wrench in my program. So I'm going to have to figure out what I can do as an alternative. I don't want to keep showing, basically I don't want to repeat what I'm doing necessarily. But there are things, there's more to do, obviously. But it is, I kind of had a schedule in my mind. And of course that just goes out the window. Old Southern technique, rub some dirt on it. It fixes everything. Well, it depends on what the injury is. Leonard, I agree with you on the trans issue, especially with the new transmission, too much electronics in them. Yeah. Well, it's just the whole internal mechanism is just crazy. So I don't mess with them at all. Copper sulfur to the eye. Yeah, you're not going to rub dirt on that. That doesn't sound pleasant at all. That doesn't sound good at all. Copper sulfur. I don't even know what copper sulfur is. Either way, it doesn't sound good. So I'd avoid that. Ricard, make sure the balancer is not balanced together with the engine. When I built my 393 stroker, the balancer was balanced with the rotating assembly and cannot be changed with something off the shelf. From what I understand, the 347 stroker engine, if you look it up on Summit, it comes up and says internally balanced. So that's all I can say is it says internally balanced. So I have to go with that. Let me see. Okay, I got an email from Marshall. So let me send him an invite. Okay, that's sent. All right. But anyway, that's my understanding is if you look up the part number, it says it's internally balanced. So that's all I have to go by on the engine. Oh, so copper sulfur kills roots. Well, that definitely is not good for your eyes then. DW, I got a lathe, you can trim it down. I thought about that. I did. I really did, because I have access to people with machinery. The only thing is, if you turn it down, it takes off all the markings. It's got all the timing marks on it. Takes those away. Of course, part number and all that junk. But I thought about that. And it's not something I think you can take, like, skim off 3/8 of an inch or something like that either. So I just need something slightly smaller. And I know there's something available, but I think as we were talking about earlier, that critical measurement of the depth of the balancer, so the pulley fits right. I see you, Marshall. Hold on just a second. So, Peter, Robert, I do most work myself, my own stuff, even with the book or the words, I sometimes end up doing it twice because something I overlook. Yep, I understand that. All right, we're gonna pull up Marshall. Hey, man.
Oh, hey there. How's it going
doing
today?
Haven't seen you in a while.
I know it. It's been a bit.
Yep.
Been a bit, but I've been watching, man, your helpful videos.
So what's new?
Oh man, just I'm trying to turn around my camera here. Darn it.
Yeah, I forget what the sequence is. Somebody has said before what you have to do, but I don't remember.
Oh man.
Oh,
man. Well,
if nothing else,
that ain't it.
If nothing else, just turn the phone around.
I guess I'll have to see how that works out. Yeah. But yeah, that works pretty poorly, doesn't it?
Well, it's
goodness gracious. But let's see. I got the T56 in.
Okay.
It's But what I'm not happy about is the driveline angles. I went with American Powertrain, and I'm getting a reading of about 5 degrees on the tail shaft, which to me is way too much.
Okay.
And of course the rear end is at about 2 degrees. So a 3-degree difference there. I'm not real pleased with.
What is it? Do you know what the actual recommendation is for that?
They want you to be, but they said, and their tech support is helpful. I'll have to give them that.
Okay.
But they want you a degree to a degree and a half.
Oh,
difference.
Okay.
So that when you get on the gas and the pinion rises a little bit, that you'll be in line.
Okay. That makes sense.
I really wish I could flip this darn thing around. I'm so sorry. Goodness. Oh,
well,
man.
I remember we other people have had to do that as well, and I don't remember what the sequence is. So what are the buttons say?
I got mic, cam mic, chat, and leave.
I could hear the first two. I didn't get the last two.
Oh, cam, mic, chat, and leave.
Oh. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, does it?
I'm not getting the option, but anyway, I did get a mock-up motor. Thought that might be helpful.
Okay.
You know, this is just an old 289.
Right.
But that's my big hang up right now is those driveline angles. And I think what I'm going to have to do, pull the motor and trans back out, clearance the cross member ever so slightly, put it back in, and I think I'll be able to raise the driveline angle up enough. I think, or I hope.
Okay. So so whenever you're showing it, if your drive shaft, your transmission, your drive shaft's too low,
the drive shaft would be, I guess so. Too low.
The angle is down further than it's supposed to be. It should be up slightly.
Yes, yes. It's confusing me anyway, but that's easy to do, Barry.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty dumb guy. I'm dumb enough to mess around with this hobby anyway, so that's got to tell you something. But
I think we're all that dumb.
Yeah. But the car's coming together. It's like I said, I wish I could flip this darn thing around. I'm so sorry. This is a worthless chat. Nobody wants to see me. Nobody wants this.
So if you hit the chat button, what happens?
Chat. It just says chat with hosts and other guests. Private chat comments. Darn it.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, and I think maybe one of my next projects will be getting these to fit a little better.
Yeah.
I got it's a little high here, a little low here, so I'll be using your recommendations there, like I did on the back end. The back end fits like a dream now.
Okay.
I did have to do about a weekend's worth of work on my my deck lid was a scratch and dent special from Mustangs Unlimited.
Okay.
And I got what I paid for, and it ended up the deck lid itself was about an 1/8 inch too long. So, of course, when I ground all this down to make it fit, everything split, right? And had to re-weld all that. but finally got it. I think the lines on it are good finally. And
Good.
yeah, but anyway, just I sure like your live streams. I think I've only missed one since you started them.
Oh,
I sure like them, and I'll keep watching. And like I said, I wish I could show you this. My trans issue, but
yeah. Okay. I can see it.
you see,
And what kind of cross member is that?
yeah, and yeah, that's from American Powertrain. And
Okay.
it's
So your tail shaft. Let's see.
it's not my favorite piece.
Yeah. So how is the engine and transmission sitting relative to the frame rails?
My tail shaft is pointing to well, as far as I know, it's square.
Okay.
With stops, and to help try to alleviate that drive shaft angle, I then lowered the motor a half inch.
Okay.
And that helped a little bit,
Right.
but not enough. But I locked in the trans when I dropped the motor. So the motor should be front to back where a stock one would be.
Okay. Yeah, but that output shaft, the tail shaft on that transmission is different than the stock type thing that would have been in there. So really what you need is a reference that tells you where center line of that output shaft is versus, say, your floor supports.
Okay.
So like if you had, like, let's just say that's a 68.7 or 68, right?
Yeah, 65.
Oh, 65. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
if you had, and I'm only defaulting back to what I have available, but I have the Stray Pony 65 sitting up in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
My thought was, if I were to take a straight edge across the floor supports, measure up to the center line of the output shaft, that should be a reference relatively close to what you need.
Sure.
So then you can compensate, you could do the same thing, put a straight edge across, measure up and go, okay, the tail shaft is X, it's high or low by this number. What do I need to do to address that? Which is what you're doing. But at least that way you have some sort of realistic number that you can go to.
And I don't have that number, what a stock one should be, right?
Here's a thought too. It should be the same whether it's a 65 or a 68. It should be the same thing because the floor pan's the same.
Right.
So maybe I'll have to do some measuring for you.
That'd be great, man.
My 68 is still up on jacks in the back, and it would be simple enough to come up with a straight edge and do a measurement to my drive shaft to the center line, and at least that way you'd have something, to go by. So
sure, yeah, no, that'd be real helpful. I'd greatly appreciate that, sir.
Yeah, I'll probably try to do that later on.
Okay. Oh man, that'd be fantastic. I sure appreciate it.
Yeah.
But that's my big hang up right now. I had the last little bit of rust on the car. I finally, doing some booger welds here on the front corner of the door.
Yeah.
But and then she should be 100% rust free. So
good. Make sure you treat the inside of that door.
Yes, sir. I did when I did the passenger side.
Okay, good.
I used some POR 15. Is that what you would recommend?
Yeah, that works good.
Anything
That works
like
good.
that anyway? Well, great.
What's that?
Well,
Yeah.
well, Barry, I'll let you get to somebody that can show their car the proper way and
Okay.
flip the screen around,
All right.
and I'll join the conversation. But I always appreciate your time. Love your videos, man. Keep them up, and congratulations on the retirement, sir. That's awesome.
I hope so. All right.
Well, yes, sir. Thanks again.
Okay. We'll
Take
see
care.
you. Bye. Okay. Well, that was good. It's always nice to see, stuff going on in projects. Let me see where we're at here. Okay, so Ricardo's saying it's internal. Since it's internally balanced, then you should be good. There again, don't Leonard. There again, don't mess with it and try one that fits. Bob, if it is internal balance, you should be able to use another non-weighted balancer. Yes. Jerry's saying he thinks his trans mount is too high. I'm not sure on that. We'll have to see. It could be, but I want to try to do some, maybe get some measurements to him so he can at least have some ballpark area to go to. Yeah, that's what I was just looking at that. Lower tail shaft angle to decrease, or lower the tail shaft to decrease U-joint angle to closer match angle at axle. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, but we'll just have to have a look at it. I feel his pain on a headlight extension. Yep, they are fun, aren't they? Possibility of adjusting angle at pinion. I guess it's possible, but I don't know what rear end he has in the car and whether it has any adjustments built in. And of course, you could shim it. You can buy those shim wedges to change the angle off the leaf spring, but I didn't know. We didn't talk about that, so maybe he'll mention that as well. Mike, glad you're here. And Leonard, you guys with the Mustangs are lucky you can still get parts for everything that's needed. Try finding parts for Gran Turinos. Now that's an adventure. Well, yeah, that is true. We are somewhat spoiled, Leonard. Even though we still find parts or there are parts available, we all know the bulk of them just don't fit. So it just doesn't happen. Oh, that was the other thing. One other thing. I did a previous video where I had the test fit of the headers and I did a steering column. And I was still concerned about the bezel and the steering column hitting the 8-gauge cluster. So I went to a friend's place who they actually have a full-scale body shop just up the road, but they've been building Mustangs in their backyard for years. And I talked to him and I said, hey, would you happen to have a cluster for a 66? He's like, yeah, come on by. So I stopped by his place, and sure enough, he walked into one of his storage buildings and said, here you go, 66 cluster. So at least at this point, I can verify the location of the column, and hopefully I don't have to make any more adjustments. Hopefully. I may have to move the column a little bit more into the body of the car, which we'll see. I hope I don't. I really hope I don't, because it's just getting beat up all the time with this thing. Try to make things fit or refit, whatever. So anyway, looks like maybe my comments froze for a second there. Okay, there we go. Here you go. Marshall is making a comment. All good recommendations. Keep them coming. It's a 9-inch that I did shim it up slightly, and I think it's still pointing downward at the tail shaft. Okay. Well, we'll see if I can't at least get you that measurement, and then you have an idea of where it should be, maybe. Hopefully that'll help out. So now I have to, like I said, I'm trying to decide what I want to do with that vintage air deal. I guess I could pull out the main under dash piece and just I could test fit that, see if that fits. I still don't have brake pedal or any of that stuff. Master cylinder, booster, a lot of things that need to come together. So I did want to. My plan was, okay, I wanted to put in that vintage air front runner system and also mock up the radiator just to see, make sure everything's going to clear and fit the way it should. And I mean, I guess I could probably try to at least bolt stuff on because the pulleys, location of the pulleys isn't going to change. So I would at least have that reference. But I'd really like to have the full setup and get that crank, the balancer and the crank pulley in place, and just be able to bolt everything on and verify. I just feel better about it that way. So, but I don't know. Maybe I'll have to work on something else. Maybe I'll have to step aside for a minute and do something, work on Jade or something. I don't know. It's one of those. It's one of those things where you just start going in a direction and all of a sudden you're like, now what? So maybe my wife and I just need to go to the lake. Maybe that'd be better. I could just go to the lake for a few days and forget about working on a Mustang. That may be the choice that I need to make. It's just go to the lake. And we should, because it's been plenty hot here. It's been plenty hot. Got Karsten checking in. Glad you're here. And Boondocker, try working out U-joint angles on a 75 Dodge Club Cab, long bed, with 2-piece rear shaft and 10 inches of lift. Spins perfect. This is common stuff with what I do. Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I say it's funny. When I built my Franken truck, the 68 GMC on the 06 chassis, when I shortened up the frame, and I didn't think about this very much until you just mentioned that. When I shortened the frame, I had people comment that I should eliminate the 2-piece drive shaft because I shortened it up, and I really didn't think about it until just now that whenever I was doing this, I didn't have any plans to shorten up or make a long 1-piece drive shaft. And at that time, my thought was, hey, if I just shorten the front section, the carrier bearing is going to stay indexed to the rear. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And the front section just stays straight. Also, there was some other framework in the way that would have been modified. But, now that I think about it, it's a good thing I didn't do that because I was able to maintain that original angle off of the carrier bearing and just shorten up that front shaft. Yeah, pretty sure that's how I did it. But now I feel better about it. Didn't even think about it until just now. So glad you brought that up, Boondocker. Yeah, Carson and Jerry, you got a plan. Yeah, go to the lake. Oh, man. Maurice Needham. Hi, Barry. Any advice on building a frame for the body to sit on while doing body work? Well, that's a good question. I did have a video. I didn't build a frame. I bought a roll-around stand. So if you look at the videos, it was in the Brooklyn. When I started on Brooklyn Pony, I needed something to put the body on. And so I bought a body dolly from Summit. And it's made out of square tubing. And I was able to bolt that together and use that as a reference. I think that kit, if I remember, was like $400, somewhere in that range. But it comes with, casters on it, you can adjust length and different things. So for me, that's probably the simplest advice for that. Otherwise, I've seen where people have went out and bought like 2x4 square tubing and built their own under frame system. The difficulty is with something like that, you end up building something that's maybe unique to the car you're working on. Mine, I wanted to be able to use it under different things. So if I wanted to make it wider or narrower or whatever, I could do that. But, you know, I've seen them made out of, like I said, 2x4 square tubing, which is pretty simple. You make a ladder box underneath with cross bracing, and then you have to build up perches. And they do sell jigs that are really a lot more high tech, where you can actually buy it that has standoffs that you can adjust and put them in different locations. So there's stuff out there that's available. But as far as building your own, you have to look at it again. Is this going to be just for this particular body, or can it be something I can use on different stuff depending on what you're trying to do? You know, I'm not against building your own. I love building stuff, and I've talked about it before. I've wanted to build a Mustang specific jig that I could put a car on and know that frame rails are where they belong, mount points are where they're supposed to be, and be comfortable with having it sit on that and be able to operate, you know, work on it, make things right. So anyway, hope that helps. Brandon, someone mentioned the Tulsa Chili Bowl the other day. I recommend it. Come on and consider your lodging taken care of. We can work on the 68 together. Roadshow reference available upon request. That sounds appealing. It really does. I would just have to get it. I have to get permission from my manager to do something like that. My boss. So, but I like the idea. When is the Chili Bowl, by the way? You need to mention that so we have an idea. Rick, hey gang, sorry I'm late checking in. Plane just landed. Well, that's a good thing. Better to have a plane that landed and be able to check in, right? Mike Howell, thought transplant. Thought transplant. What? What is that? Thought transplant? What are you trying to say, Mike? Change directions? You're talking about the Franken truck? Creating a thought pattern. Let me see if I got. Nope. Okay. Oh man. Still have 36 people watching. Keeping up. Yeah. You know, like I said, and I'm beating a horse here, but I like to have things sequenced, right? So when I get off my pattern a little bit, it kind of messes with me up. You know, I'm like, I really wanted to get X done or Y done or whatever it is. So, yeah. Oh, another thing. I don't know if I mentioned this. I showed in the last, I don't have it out here, in the last video, I must have taken it in the house, that I have on the Teespring. I have my Joe Daddy's face mask now. If you want to order one of those, you can, just saying. And then I'm working with Grease Rookie, Andrew, Grease Rookie Garage. I'm working with him for some t-shirt designs. So he knows how to do that stuff. I don't know how to do that stuff. So he's helping me out with some stuff with that. So hopefully I'm going to have some pretty cool updated designs available that you can just go to Teespring and get. It's easier to do that than to get them through me, but I definitely have some. I don't know. Maybe I can show you a picture. You can tell me if you like this or not. Hold on a second. All right, you ready? Here's one of the ideas. See that? What do you think? Got the flag, got a car, got the logo. That's pretty close, I think, to where we're going to be with a design. And again, go check out, if you haven't already, go check out Grease Rookie Garage. Give him a like and follow and subscribe and all that stuff. Help him out with his channel. And you know, we've been communicating. I know that he talks to Harvey, and it's, you know, they communicate about stuff as well. If I can figure out some way to get up there, I may go visit his project, his Iron 6 that he's building. Really cool. You know, I mentioned before, it's really cool to see somebody who's learning as they go, and developing an understanding of how these cars come apart and go together and all that sort of thing. So anyway, at this point, that's pretty close to probably the finished design, or at least one design, and maybe be able to come up with something else. So it'll be, again, it'll be on Teespring, and I'll probably do some sort of something to indicate that they're available. You know, just so you know. Let's see. Brandon, Chili Bowl is January 11th through the 16th, assuming it still happens. Yeah, that's the thing. They canceled SEMA this year, so I can't go to SEMA. Marshall, someone once told me that if you want to make God laugh, just make a plan. Yeah. Maurice, love it. Good. Boondocker, I know these afternoon sessions are primarily for the fellows overseas, but I find my mind is clearer at this time of day. Monday nights, my brain is tired. Yeah, you know, actually, I think my brain is clearer on Monday nights than it is on Thursday afternoons. Because honestly, when I do most of my stuff, it is in the afternoon when I'm working on a car or whatever, and that's my mindset. That's where I'm focused on, is trying to get stuff done and filmed and understand angles and perspectives and get all that stuff together. And so whenever Thursday comes around, and I like doing this, it's a different kind of mindset for me. I have to kind of shift gears a little bit. Looks great. Thank you. Nice design, Randy. Thank you. Yeah. My immediate supervisor, Brian. Marshall, it was close to a Mustang shape. Close to a Mustang shape. G Mars, hi, can you mention the paint guys you use, brands, and if you have one primer, basic clear coat, also why use those guns? Okay, well, typically the paints products that I use from PPG. I use Shopline products. I've had good luck with them. PPG has been a great resource for information, and I haven't had any issues. So that's typically what I use for paint products. Now, I may vary on the clear coat depending on what I'm spraying. There's a ton of different clears out there, and I think some of the European clears are maybe better than some of the American clears, I think. So I really can't point to one and say, get this clear coat. I just can't do that. So for the bulk of my products, it's Shopline. Now I will say this: the guns that I have used over several projects, several years, they were very generic. Let me just show you. These guns I bought from the PPG supply, and they were HVLP. I don't even know what the brand is. Okay, so very generic guns. It's got like a little tornado or scorpion something. I don't know what that is. I guess a tornado, right? You can buy this gun setup for basically like $100 from the paint supply place, right? It comes with these two guns. It comes with a little touch-up gun, and they come with a tank on top. These have been converted over to the PPS paint cups, paint system that I use. But the guy at the paint store even told me, he said, what'll happen is, like the body shop guys, the painters at the body shops, they'll buy these kits, right? They use them for a year, and then they throw them away, or 6 months or whatever. They don't care. They're cheap. And, unless you're doing it professionally, do you really need to spend $1,000 on a gun? Probably not. So for basic setup stuff, these work. And I've used these for, I think this is the primer gun, and this is the base gun. I have not sprayed clear with this though. I'm sure it can. I think it can, but I have not. I have another regular good gun to spray clear with. So let me show you this other gun I have. I've done a video on this gun, a couple of them. This is the Black Widow from Harbor Freight, okay? And somebody has said this matches a certain, or like a SATA gun, whatever level of SATA gun, I don't know. I think it's SATA. But I've sprayed with this gun. Now they have one for like base and one for top coat. I don't have any complaints so far with this gun. Now I got this on sale. I actually have both guns, but this was on sale at Harbor Freight for like, I don't remember, it was $150, something like that. I did convert it to the PPS. The only issue I've had at all is some of the paint is leaking around the base where the adapter goes in, and I could probably remedy that with something, but I just haven't. Otherwise, I like these guns. They spray nice, and I plan to do a lot more with these in the future. So that's where I'm at with guns. Otherwise, I have a DeVilbiss, I think it's a DeVilbiss clear coat gun. And this is, I don't know what model it is, but it's a DeVilbiss. And I only use this for clear coat. This is what we used at the body shop, one of the guns we used. And nothing wrong with it, still works. So this is what I spray clear coat with. Anyway, maybe that answers your question. Maybe it doesn't, but that's all I got to really say about that. Yeah, Matt. From what the email said, SEMA's shut down. They're trying to do some sort of live stream something, or I don't know. So I don't know what's going to happen. Jorge is checking in. DW says, cool. I'm guessing you're talking about the t-shirt idea, I hope. Brian got 2 coats of Celoid down this week. Cool. That's a good deal. All right. Let me see if there's... Yeah, if anybody else wants to get on the stream, I'll keep this going for a little bit longer, but I'm probably going to end it. If nobody else gets on or wants to get on, I'll probably end this at 1:15 or an hour and 15 minutes, which would be 4:15. My grandson is here, and I probably need to spend a little bit of time with him today as well. But anyway, so I hope GMARS, I hope that helps, at least helps maybe with some of your questions. There are other paint products out there. You don't have to use PPG, but I'm just saying I know that I'm happy with their setup. I've been using their PVG epoxy, but I recently there was a video I did on the Jade Mustang where I sprayed it with epoxy from Summit. So Summit brand, and worked fine. Sprayed nice, laid out nice. And I'm happy with it. So I'm happy with that. Yep. Yep, Jeff. Yeah, she puts up with me. Yep. That's putting it lightly, I'll say. But she's put up with me for, what year is this? Well over 30 years. Well over 30 years. I think we, 89? 89 is when we met. So, yeah, 31 years. I don't even know. It's hard for me to keep up what day it is now. You know? Since I'm on this retirement thing. I don't even, it's like, do I need to do something today? Because I don't know what day it is. No, not so cool, Barry. The sealer was on my garage floor. Supervisor thing. Yeah, I get it. G Mars, yes, it did. Thank you. I've seen some of your videos again. Thanks. You're welcome. Leonard is checking out. Take care. See y'all Monday night. Yep, I will be here. I'm really hoping that I don't feel like I have a cold or anything, but for the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks, it feels like it's not like I'm congested or anything, but it feels like there's just something hanging on in the back of the throat that I can't get out. So I'm sure it's not, I'm hope I'm not some sort of crazy illness, right? Sure hope not. That would be bad. But anyway, well, I'm hearing the car door shut. My oldest son may be here to pick up his son. So I'll have to check into that. If you would, as usual, by all means, put a thumbs up on the video. Leave comments on the video. Help with that process. Mike Howell, thought transplant, shifting from one Mustang project to another to prevent yourself from getting frustrated. Yes. Yeah. Well, you know, and there's people that want to see stuff on Jade. They want to see Jade progress. I want to see Jade progress. I really do. I mean, I would like to be driving Jade down the street right now, but it just doesn't seem to be in the works at the moment. But I may have to shift gears and just do a Jade video. Just do something on it. I know I have to check out the fenders. The right front fender is messed up, and I have another fender a friend gave me that came off his 68 fastback drag car. So maybe I can check that fender and see if it's worth messing with. Try to get something done on that. Matt, how's your leg? Well, good question. My hamstring's fine. Doesn't seem to be hurting at all. But I mentioned it last week. This is really weird pain. Quadriceps tendonitis. Or quadricep tendonitis. Basically, the band above my kneecap where the quad attaches to something there, man, does it hurt constantly. And you know, if you bend your leg, if you squat down, if you do anything where you have to get up and put pressure on that quad, it's not good. So I've been popping Advil and freezing it, putting ice on it, trying to get it doing better. But thanks for asking. But I mean, I want it to be healthy so I want to be running. I want to start running again. That's kind of frustrating. I may have to start going on 4 or 5 mile walks just to burn off some I don't know, stress energy. Landon, I am working on a 65 Mustang right now. Cool. Good. Give you a bell for working on a Mustang right now. Gordon, married in 84, first grandchild due by 20th of August. Awesome. Married in 84, yeah. Yeah, we married in 91, but been together since 89. Boondocker, go check on your son and grandson. They're more important than us. Or should I say me? See you Monday. All right, we'll see you, Boondocker. Yeah, I don't know if I should have a bring the grandson out here so y'all could see him. He's been he's been hanging out here a little bit more as it goes on. He's almost walking, really close to walking, which is going to be fun. And of course, speaking little nonsense words and stuff, but he's getting there, you know. So that's cool. All right. Well, I don't see anybody putting in, so I'm going to go ahead and end this one. As I said before, also, if you would, you know, if you're ordering stuff off of Amazon, go order through my page, please. Helps out. Every little bit helps. I want to thank several people who have become patrons, and I appreciate that greatly. That helps out as well. And, you know, just keep plugging away. I'm going to try to keep this channel and make it, I got to get it to grow, you know. That's why I'm trying different things, trying to do, you know, giveaways and stuff like that. So hopefully it'll get some more attention. But anyway, thank you all for being here. And we'll be back on Monday. And we'll hang out, talk, chat. Maybe I'll have something more interesting to talk about. Let's see. Jeff, Marshall, and Barry, having your drive shaft in line within 1 degree is important for smoothest running. Yes, we'll get on that. Thank you, Brian. Thanks for the visit. Paul, how is the vintage air system compared to the factory AC? Well, I know for a fact that vintage air is better. Everything I put in, I've installed several of those, and man, I've had good luck with them. I've had very good luck with them. So, Ish, keep up the great work. Thank you. Okay. All right. I'm going to run, and like I said, we'll catch up with you on Monday night at 7. I'll try to get another video together for next week. I'm not sure what it's going to be just yet, but whenever I get it up, you'll know as well. So we'll see y'all. Until next time, take care of yourselves.